I did it. I am live and I am excited to be with you guys. So make sure that you hit me up in the comments and let me know that you're here. And I'm going to do my best to keep an eye on the comments and be engaged and interacting, but I have never really live streamed that much. I don't even watch that many gamers live stream or anything. So this is a new experience and I'm trying to learn. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. So thanks so much for stopping by. First thing is first, let me make sure that I've got a good view on my chat here, and I'm gonna try and watch that. All right, so today I want to create a magnify plugin. Basically, a lot of my tutorials, I'm trying to showcase something and then I need to zoom in on the screen in just a certain part. So I wanted to make a plugin that does that. I know I could buy one, but I'm stubborn and I don't like spending money. So I'm going to try and make it myself. We'll see how it goes. I have an initial idea of how to start it, but we'll just get started and play around and find out what happens. So we'll jump into a Final Cut title. And I'm just going to do it in 1080p because my computer can't seem to handle live streaming very well at 4K. So we'll do 1080 and I'm just going to leave it at 2997. And my duration of 10 seconds I think is good. So when you are in motion, the first thing you're usually going to want to do is delete that title background. But actually what we're going to do is leave that for this magnify plugin, and I'm going to delete the type text here. And what I'm going to do is, just so we can see how the plugin is working, I'm going to drop in, let's go into my tutorials. Let's see if I can drop in a photo. So I'm just going to drag that onto that title background. And so that gives me something to gauge how the plugin is working. So from there, let's see where we start. I'm gonna say I probably should start with a rectangle. So I'm gonna get the rectangle shape there and we'll just make it right there in the center, and I'll push shift so that it is symmetrical. And we can jump into our inspector. We'll go ahead and get rid of the outline and go to our geometry. And I want it to be a little bit round. Usually 20 is like a good roundness level for your squares there. And oh man, we got just, oh, thank you. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I appreciate you saying that. That means a lot to me. So thank you so much for stopping by. Let me know if you have any questions of what I'm doing here. Okay, so we've got the rectangle, and that's going to serve as an alpha mask. And so that is what is going to essentially drive the plugin. So this is actually going to be similar to a tutorial I made for creating like a spotlight outline. So it'll be similar, but it's just for zooming in. Hey, thanks, Peter. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys watching and stopping by. It's great to see all of you. I wish I could see all your faces like a Zoom conference. That would be kind of cool, but you know, maybe in another age. Okay, so I've got my size here. I'm just gonna actually put this at 450. Maybe I'm a little OCD and I just like it, you know, perfect exact numbers. So we've got that, and we're gonna need to create a driver that's going to move this rectangle around. So what we wanna do is actually create a controller. So we'll jump into our generators here, and my face is in the way. Let's see if I can, I'm just searching up the solid color here. There we go, and we'll drag that there. So I just found the solid color underneath my face there. Sorry that it's kind of in the way. I wish I could just have it disappear, you know, when my mouse goes over it. But so the solid color, we are going to actually have that invisible, and essentially we'll apply a filter to it, which has on-screen controls, and that's kind of the main way to get your on-screen controls in Final Cut Pro. So the one I usually like to use, which one do I usually use? Twirl. Twirl has, it's great because it has this scale here. It's got the rotation, and so it's got the position. So it's got those three factors that make it really versatile for creating a plugin. So we are going to just kind of scale it to the basic size that we want it. And we'll just make sure that that color solid is really invisible. And I'm actually going to set the amount to 0.1. Just again, it's a lot easier to work with clean, even numbers when you're designing a plugin. Okay, so we've got the twirl, sorry. Man, that is the beauty of this being live, is I make mistakes and I can't edit them out. So I say a lot and I make a lot of mistakes. So we're just gonna fly with it, but this is fun. And let's see, I want to set the rotation on the twirl here to exactly 90 degrees, so it's just pointing straight up. So we've got that, and make sure that our center is dead center. Okay, so what we want to do is go into our rectangle, and we're going to be working with the position parameters here. And let's just go ahead and reset that real quickly so it's dead center as well. And what we can do is add parameter behaviors to each of the position parameters. Now, it's extremely important that you do it for each individual parameter rather than as a mass, because if you do it all together, Motion doesn't let you select the features that you want to control in the plugin. So just make sure you always do it on the individual features here. So we'll click this down arrow, we'll add a parameter behavior, and we will link it. So every time we link a parameter, we'll just drag in our color solid here, and I'm actually going to rename that to controller. That way I know what it is. And I'm going to rename the twirl to OSC, which stands for on-screen controls. And hopefully that makes some sense. Okay, so we've got our first link here, and it's gonna be really important that I link, or I write these out for each individual factor. So, hey, what's going on? I'm glad you could, it is hard to follow live. I will definitely save it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so it's important you just rename each of the factors. Otherwise, you're going to get super lost trying to figure out what's plugging into what. So we've got our link X position. Now, normally you would think that you are working off of the properties, but because we're trying to get the on-screen controls in Final Cut Pro, we're actually going to want to use the filters here, which you can see I named on-screen controls. So we're just going to take under the filters the center piece, and we are working with the X value. So now the X value of our on-screen controls is going to drive the rectangle here. Hey, are you guys both from Poland? That's legit, man. I love YouTube. It brings everybody around the world together. So I'm glad you guys could all stop by. Okay, so we've got our link X position. Now the problem is that it's way offset to the right side. I don't fully understand why. It has something to do with, if you jump into the center here, you can see it has a center of 0.5. So if we go to the link X position, we can set the this offset here to negative 0.5, I believe. There we go. And so now that will be lined up perfectly with however we move this plugin. So is there like a lot of filmmakers in Poland? Oh, and from Romania. You guys are the best. I'm glad to see you here. So, okay, so we've got the link X position, and I'm actually just going to save myself a lot of trouble and duplicate that with Command D. So now that'll save me some steps. So we can just change the compatible parameters here in the filters on-screen control center to Y. And again, I am kind of doing this on the fly. I don't fully know how this plugin is going to work, so I'm trying to explain all the steps I'm doing. So let's see here. Okay, so we've got the filters, and then we need to change the properties here on the secondary one, properties, position, and Y. So now the Y is going to be driving the on-screen controls. However, our offset is off because it reset it, so we'll just set that to negative 0.5. Ooh, Latvia! That is insane. Man, it's kind of blowing my mind how you guys all around the world are watching me right now. So it's a little bit humbling, I will say. I wasn't expecting that. I thought most people were from the US, so it's so good. Oh, the EU is taking over the stream, and I like it. So we'll keep it that way, I guess. I think you guys are nicer than us Americans over here, so there we go. Okay, so we got our Y and X position, and if we move this around, we can see how we've got full control over this rectangle, which will be driving our alpha mask, which I'll explain in a bit. So the next thing we want to do is enable scale on the rectangle. Is Adobe is more popular here? I think you're right. I think Adobe is more popular in most places, but I think Adobe is kind of faltering right now. I don't know. I see a lot of people that are like, I don't know why I'm still using it. It's always crashing on me. So there's hope. Maybe we'll get some more Final Cut Pro users, but I think a lot of people are also jumping to DaVinci Resolve. So there's hope though. And I keep hoping somebody updates motion to be like After Effects, but you know, I don't know. I think I'm a little too hopeful for that. So anyway, we've got our rectangle. Let's go ahead and get the scale working. So to do that, we'll just jump over to our scale properties. And again, we cannot set the scale to the main scale here. We have to do it for the individual parts. That's just how motion works, unfortunately. So we will add a parameter behavior. We will do the link once again. We'll drag in our controller to the drop well right there. Ooh, I forgot I have this fancy like writing thing I can do. So we'll do that. And then we've got our source parameter that we need to change into the filters on-screen controls. And we're gonna do the amount because the on-screen controls, you can see the amount here. That's what drives the scale. So we will select it from the amount, and then you'll notice how it squishes it like crazy here. And so we are going to need to kind of expand the size. So we'll jump to the scale here, and I believe we're gonna need to set the scale to 9 to get it exactly how it was before. So that's because this is 0.1. No, actually, I'm sorry. We need to set it to 10. So I'm still figuring stuff out. We need to set it to 10. It has a scale factor of 10 times that 0.1 so that really small circle works with our scale. Let's see. I got to read some of these texts. Yes, motion does lack a lot of the features that After Effects is specifically for visual effects, but in my opinion, I actually think motion does a way better job with motion graphics, just from the standpoint of like it has metal running the processing, so it's a lot faster, and then it has a lot of automated animations that have made my life so dramatically easy. So yeah, that's why I like motion. But anytime I have to do some special effects or anything like that, I go usually straight to After Effects or to Blender or something like that. So let's see, link, and we set this for the X scale, I believe. Man, come on, there we go. Perfect. So we just need to duplicate this with Command D, and then we're just going to change the properties, transform, scale, and set that to Y. So now, theoretically, yep, our scale is working perfectly, so we can move our rectangle around the screen, and we can scale it up and down. How cool is that? Hey, thank you, Stevie. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you guys for stopping by. I didn't know if I was going to get anybody watching, so this is awesome. I got to do this more, so thank you guys. And gals, I don't know, maybe there's gals here. Sorry. Guys, gals, the whole thing. So okay, we've got our box here, and so that is what we're going to use to drive the magnifying glass. So what we need to do is make it so this title background has a clone layer. So I'll push K, that'll create the clone layer. Now the clone layer, anything we apply to the title background will apply to the clone layer, but anything we apply to the clone layer will not apply to the title background. But it's always gonna be exactly the same in frames and stuff. So when the video is playing through, the clone layer is gonna look identical to the title background. So that's why we do that. So now that we have our clone layer, we need to set the rectangle as the image mask for the clone layer. So I'm just gonna right click that, and we're gonna do add image mask. You can also do that with Command Shift M. And from there, we just drag our rectangle straight into the mask, and now I can even disable the underlying background there. We can move our rectangle, and I think my dog's coming in here to hang out. I wish I could move my camera and you could see my dogs hanging out. I might need to put them outside, I don't know. Yeah, they're looking for food or something. I don't know. But so now we can move our on-screen controls, and you can see how it's looking over the top of our screen, which is perfect. So now all we need to do is, if we jump into our clone layer here, we need to scale it up a bit. So I don't want to scale on that factor. So we want to set this to like 150 maybe. And now if I enable the underlying layer, we can see how that's working. So we can move this around and zoom in on stuff, which is great. We're doing good so far. Okay, let me wrap my mind around what we need to do next. I think what we need to do, we need an outline for sure around this, but I think I want to do the animations first. So to animate this, we're going to want to obviously work with the scale. So we can jump down here to our scale properties. We can click and add a parameter behavior, and we're going to use Overshoot. And so Overshoot, I'm a big fan. Now, obviously, this is going to be happening over the duration of the whole clip. So we'll just select our Overshoot, and I'll get it to like, half a second or so. So 15 frames maybe. And we'll push O, and that'll trim that down really, really quick. So now, if we jump into our Overshoot value, we can set this to a percentage of -100%. And if everything worked, there we go. We can see it kind of appearing there, which is perfect. Let's go ahead and maybe set the cycles down to 1. And man, we got 12 people here. Holy moly. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. This is a very amateur stream, so I didn't even know if this music thing was going to work, so it means a lot that you're here. Thank you so much. Okay, so we got our cycles down, and so that should be a much smoother animation if you can see that. Hopefully YouTube's playing this back pretty smoothly. Is the quality okay on the stream? Is the music and stuff loud enough and whatnot? I don't know. I hope it's not showing it, and this says 360p. I really hope it's not only 360p, but... Okay, so we've got our animation happening here, and I'll keep an eye out for a chat message from you guys. Oh man, I didn't even see your guys' chat messages. Okay. I have a Peter McKinnon kind of energy. That's awesome. Okay, all is good. You guys are seeing that. The delay's a little weird for me. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I want to be like Peter McKinnon. I want to be somebody that's happy, so I appreciate that. And Da Vinci, because the price is good. Yes. Yeah, yep, that's so true about Final Cut Pro. I've never lost anything from Final Cut Pro unless I accidentally deleted something. So that was my fault. But oh, text is a tiny bit blurred. Yeah, I wish I knew how to fix that, but I don't. Hey, voice and sound is great. Okay, we're good. We're still going. Awesome. Okay, so I got my rectangle here. Now, it's super easy to add an outline to it. We can just do Command D. That'll create another rectangle, and this one will not be driving the clone layer. This one will just be on its own. So I'm going to rename it to Outline. I'm actually going to enable it. We'll jump into our style, enable the outline, and disable the fill. And we'll just want to make sure that it's on top of the rectangle there, and that'll make it work perfectly. And then we can take the width, and I usually like around 20, maybe 10, somewhere in there, maybe even 15. We'll just split the difference. So we've got that, the width going at 15. And yeah, so let's see. If we move our on-screen controls, we've got this zoom in, and hopefully everything is playing correctly. But you may notice, let me see. You can kind of notice how the background doesn't quite line up with where our zoom is. So I think that's something I want to fix. Oh, you know what? I also have another problem. The overshoot is overpowering the scale of our object here. So we're gonna need to do some figuring out here. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna select the rectangle and the outline. We're gonna group them by right-clicking, and then we're gonna take the overshoot, delete that, and we're gonna just drop that onto the entire group. Now let's see how that works. There we go. So now the overshoot should not, yeah, it will never go below 0. So we don't have it overshooting, as one would say, our object. But I am running into a problem where it's not lined up with our object. So I'm not sure why that is. Let me see if I can figure that one out. Let's see. Okay, so we've got, this is going to a full 100%. That's great. I'm gonna scale this up. Well, who knows? Who knows why this is that happening? It's almost working when I got it fully scaled up, so something's happening with the scale here. Or it's offset weirdly. I wonder if I disabled the on-screen controls. Oh, I can still see them. I'm perplexed. That's why we're doing it live, so you guys can see how I figure these problems out. So I think I'm gonna have to disable this overshoot property. Oh, I wonder if I could apply the scale to the group, and then maybe that wouldn't cause any problems. So that is what I'm gonna try and do. We're gonna select these two scale objects. I should have renamed them. And then I'm gonna apply the scale onto this group instead. There we go. And then, you know what? I wonder if I could even apply, I wonder if I could even apply the position and everything to this group. That might have been a better route to do this. Okay, so we've got that. I'm going to disable all of that. Okay, we've got that going for us. What happens? Okay, so this is moving around, which is a great sign. And then let me see if we can go into, let's see, we've got our on-screen controls. What is happening that's making this so offset so weirdly? Maybe I'll unlink everything really quick, move the on-screen controls, and then try re-enabling them. Hey Sammy, I am making a magnifier plugin. A lot of the time in my tutorials I want to showcase something up nice and close, but I don't want to zoom the whole screen. So that is what I'm trying to create. I've seen it in a few plugin packs, but I'm a cheapskate and I don't want to pay people money. No. No, actually I just like the practice. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to make, but I don't know why everything got offset when I added this overshoot. So let's see if we can figure out the root of that problem. It's still offset weirdly. Man, this is frustrating, but we'll figure it out. Ah, okay, our Y scale here. Nope, that's not it. I thought that was it. Oh, Y, yep, these are at -0.5, as they should be. You know, I might need to just build them from the ground up. We'll get this centered. Oh, I like that. Let's multiply it by 10,000. I'll take it, you know. If I could get 10,000 people, that would blow my mind. I don't know if we'll get there, but thank you. So, all right, so we're gonna have to reapply, unfortunately, our position. So we are gonna reset this, and we'll see what we can do. We'll have to reset the parameter on all of these. I bet you that had something to do with it too. So we're gonna do the good old-fashioned add parameter behavior link, and we're gonna drag our controller in there, and we're gonna go to filters, on-screen controls, center, X. And so now that's driving the X, but the offset is off, so we'll do -0.5. We're off to a good start. We're almost there. All right, I'm going to rename this link X position. And then we're going to do Command D to duplicate that. And we're going to rename that as well. So we will link Y position. And then we can go to our filters on-screen control center Y, which will drive our properties transform position Y. How cool is that? How did I learn to do all this stuff? You know, at first I learned the basics of motion from Ripple training, but then I started to grow and expand upon that. I learned a lot from Simon Ubsdale. He's got a lot of, I don't know how to say his last name, but he's got a lot of really great tutorials that are really advanced, and he actually just started making them again, which got me super excited. So that, and then from there, I wanted to really get into the technical side of things, and so I literally just started reading the help manual in Motion, and that helped tremendously. It's exceedingly boring, but it does tell you a lot. Okay, let's see if we got this. Great, our on-screen controls are lined up with our rectangle there. So we are off to a good start, or not, I don't know. We got our overshoot. Let's see if that throws everything off. It didn't do anything, so who knows? Psh, you know, I'm always gonna have time for little people because everybody matters so much. So, you know, I'm gonna be the biggest small YouTuber you ever saw. That's my goal. Alrighty, so we've got that going. Let's get our overshoot working again. Oh, you know what? My face is blocking this. That's the problem with this face thing. Maybe I'm gonna move it in OBS here. And we can drag my face over there. So now you guys can see what I'm doing. So we're working with the Overshoot plugin here. And we need to see why this isn't scaling at all. Link properties transform scale. Oh, it's applying it to the rectangle there. That's why. And that's applying it to everything. Drag it to that group. There we go. Now we've got our animation on our rectangle and we've got our on-screen controls. Now something I notice when I do this is I get close to these edges and I can't see past the edge. So we want to kind of offset that a bit. So let's see. We are going to reset the center on our on-screen controls. And man, I like sometimes you just like see an animation, the overshoot animation, and it's really satisfying. So I'll just sit there and just like play it like 20 times and get nothing done. So okay, so we need where am I going with that? What am I doing here? Okay, so we've got our overshoot. Man, that is crazy. I just totally blanked in my mind. Oh, that's what I was saying. Okay, so we need to offset essentially the anchor point for our clone layer that's underneath. So I don't know where where did this go? Where did all my stuff just go? It's all, what is happening? Come on, motion. Okay, we've got that. We've got our overshoot. Let's drag our, maybe you guys saw what I did there. What do I do for a living? I am a full-time filmmaker. I was working on a TV show that was centered around helping usually teens and stuff that were, you know, struggling with thoughts of suicide and stuff. So we made hopeful content to hopefully inspire them to keep going and stuff. So that was what I was doing. But a few months ago, I, you know, decided that I wanted to kind of go off on my own and do freelance full time. So that is what I am doing now, which gives me a lot of time to put as much focus and effort as I can into the YouTube channel. So that's why I'm doing a live stream today. So yeah, that's exciting. And, but because of that, I never know when the next, you know, paycheck's coming. So that's always scary. So that's a side of this life that you don't really know about. But so far it's been really great, and I've been absolutely loving it, and it's brought me a lot of joy. So I'm really excited. Yes. Oh, yes, I totally agree, Grinnin. It's so much better to use Final Cut Pro if you're working with Apple. If I was on a Windows system, I might consider Premiere or something along those lines, although DaVinci's getting really tempting. But I definitely agree. I would so much rather be working in Final Cut Pro with a system that's like designed for Apple. So yeah, huge agreement there. Okay, so I need to set this anchor point on the clone layer. So we've got some stuff here. So what we could do, we need to change the anchor point with our on-screen controller. So I think I can maybe duplicate the link X and Y here. We'll do Command C, and then we can just paste it onto our clone layer. And this might throw things off, but we'll fix it. So we've got our on-screen controls center Y. What we need to do is have it work with our anchor point. So we'll go to our properties and transform and anchor point. So then we will line that up with the Y, and we'll also line it up with the X. That's what they say anyway. Okay, so that's going to move the anchor point, and the reason I wanted to do that is because I want to have an animation on the scale within the magnifying glass. And so if we can move the anchor point around to where it's scaling, hopefully things should be pretty well centered. That's the hope. I haven't tested this theory, so we're about to find out, I suppose. Okay, so let's just see if that throws anything off like crazy. You can kind of see it moving around now, and it's cool because it almost offsets it. So if you were to animate this moving across, it has much more of a magnifying glass feel, which is kind of cool. But also you'll notice when I get close to these edges, rather than like getting all the way to this edge and it cuts everything off, it's actually further in frame. So that's nice so that you can actually see everything that you want to zoom into. Is it weird that you grin every time someone tells you they use Premiere? No, I think it makes me happy when somebody's just video editing. So I get happy when people just say they're video editor. So whatever program they want to use, that's awesome. So let's go ahead and dial in our anchor points here. And I'm going to rename these so I know what they're doing. Anchor point Y and anchor point X. Perfect. So we've got that, and I think I need to offset the parameter a little bit, maybe in the scale, so that we're not going to. You'll notice when I go way over to the edge here, it's like I would like it so that it's right up to the edge, right when I get to the edge of the frame. But right now, the edge of our zoom in section is right there. So we're just gonna offset the Y and X here. Let's see, do I do it in the offset? Nope, I need to do it in the scale factor here. So I need to go up towards the top, and then we can really see what's happening here. Maybe it's kind of dark. The single most important mindset, according to me, to master motion. Oh man, I would say, what would I say? To master motion, the reason I wanted to learn motion was because I was, I don't know, I really like the technical side of things. So if you want to master motion, it definitely comes down to like, how technical do you want to get? So, because like you'll see all these linking parameters and all this stuff, and this is like kind of bootleg weird. It's weird that you have to go through all this extra work to get controllers in Final Cut Pro. So to really want to master motion, you definitely have to be somebody who's going to want to think outside the box and look at a tool and think, how can I use that tool way different than it was ever intended to get something powerful for me to really speed up my workflow. So that's the idea. Hey, yes, it did. It helped me dramatically, and I think it made me have a better lookout on life. So I was really glad I got to have that job. That was a really fun job. So, and I didn't leave it because I was mad at the job or anything. I was just wanting to go on to different things. But yes, it definitely does. It makes you really consider the world through the eyes of other individuals. So. Superpower emotion. Why did I switch from Adobe After Effects? I actually have not switched from Adobe After Effects. What I was trying to do is learn motion better for visual effects. So I decided that would be a really great exercise. Oh, good. Yes. 3 years ago, okay, you want to know something funny? Here's a secret. I've only been using motion for like a year and a half. So you can learn it fast. You just have to take different routes to get there. There's not a lot of videos. That's what I'm trying to bridge that gap. So I haven't been using motion that long, but by reading some help manuals, you can learn a lot. And hopefully my videos will make it way easier for you to learn than it ever was for me. I was just like sitting there for 8 hours a day, just like, what does this do? What does that do? So hopefully that's what this does. Anyway, back to what I was doing. The anchor point, I need to change the scale offset here. So we are just going to dial this in. If you push, I think, is it option? Option gives you a little bit finer control. Not really. It's not giving me the control I want. Okay, this is going to be very difficult. So I think, is it 0.4? Nope, 0.5. You can see how I'm kind of lining up the edge here with the top edge. So 0.6 seems to be the sweet spot. Yes, that is the most sad part about motion, but we're starting a revolution here. So that's what we're gonna do. So 0.6, that's the sweet spot to line things up with the edge. And then let me get to the edge over here, and we'll see what the offset is on the anchor point Y. I think it might be 0.6 as well. Nope. It's not 1. Is it 0? Nope, it's definitely not 0. 0.4. 0.5. Nope. 0.45. Hey, there we go. Now it's lined up. So now if we move our on-screen controller, it should make it so we can see the full edge when we get over here, which is great. And that'll be really useful in the plugins and stuff. And then we can scale it up and zoom around here. And then we've also got this fancy animation. Cool. So I might want to add in one more animation actually with the underlying, the clone layer. So we'll see how this goes. What we'll do is actually animate the clone layer there. Let me reset the center on this so it's nice and clean. And here's something I'm going to do. Motion doesn't have auto saving like Final Cut Pro does. So I'm going to save. Command S. There we go. Let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to throw this in my tutorials folder. Isn't it? Yes, that is the idea. I want the anchor point to move depending on which part of the screen I want to magnify, so that I'm going to, hopefully the idea is so I can animate the clone layer, and then the scale will happen from wherever that anchor point is, so the animation should line up perfectly. That's the hope. So we'll cross our fingers. Okay, so I've got this. I'm going to save it as the Magnify plugin, and we'll just push publish. And oh, what did Sammy say? I didn't see yours. Oh, let's see. So I learned, okay, so when I started making movies, I was 9 years old. I started with stop motion, and then from stop motion, I was tired of having to wait for other people to come make videos with me, because it's a lot of work to do stop motion by yourself. So I decided to get into 3D animation, so I picked up Blender, and that was, so I started 16 years ago doing stop motion, and then I started Blender 14 years ago. So I was doing Blender for a while, and that was a really great time of my life to learn Blender because I was really young and I could really soak up stuff quickly. And then I got my first live action camera. So I started doing a video every week with my friends when we were really young. Those have since been deleted, which is unfortunate. I've lost them forever. And I wish I could look back at those. So never delete your stuff. That's all I got to say. Anyway, so those got deleted. But yeah, I started making movies with my friends. And then just over the years, I've just been kind of advancing all of the skills. So I work a lot in Blender. And I'd love to do Blender tutorials on my channel, but my channel's not really lined up with that niche. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's how I learned 3D. And then 3D transferred really well into After Effects. Blender and After Effects actually have several similarities, so I learned that over a couple years, and yeah, and now I'm doing motion, learning it. So and then I've just been using Final Cut Pro basically my entire life for just general video editing. So I actually started in Final Cut 7. Hey, hello from Spain. Nice to see you, Luis. And thank you for stopping by. Let's see. Okay, I think I got all the chat messages. Keep them coming. Yes, I know Blender's super intensive. I'm thinking someday when I can afford it, I'm going to buy a really spec'd out PC to do Blender and then and After Effects, and then I'm going to keep my Mac stuff for Mac. And yeah, that should be fun. I like that part. So okay, so we're going to animate this clone layer, getting back into it. So we've got our scale already set to 150%, and I'm just going to add a parameter behavior, and we're going to do the overshoot once again, because as Marcin knows, I hope I said your name right, he knows that I love the overshoot, and he loves the overshoot. So, okay, so we are going to set the start value here to actually, normally I would do negative 100%, but because this is already scaled up 50%, we want to negate that 50%. So we're going to do negative 50%, and that should set it up so the animation's happening. You can see it there really slow. And then we can go into the overshoot that I just created, and we'll push O, and that'll trim it down. And now we've got the overshoot happening, and it's actually it's kind of got this little jiggle to it. It's kind of cool. I kind of dig it, but I'm gonna turn down the cycles. Let's see. So the cycles are 1. So yeah, now it's exactly the same as our rectangle there. Yep, that's exactly me too, Grinnin. So I would, that's the dream, but freelancing doesn't pay that well just yet. So we'll see when I can get a computer like that. Okay, so we've got our overshoot animation. So what I want to do is actually set it up so I can disable this animation if I don't want it and I just want to fade in. So what we can do is actually create a marker. And Motion uses markers a little bit differently than Final Cut. They're actually points to indicate the beginning and end of animations and a poster frame. So to do this, we're just going to come to the end of where our animation happens. We'll push Shift M, and that'll create that green marker there. And if you double click these markers, you can actually change all the settings on them. You can change the color. Ooh. So what we're going to do is change the type here. So we're going to click that, and there's all these options: built-in, mandatory, and optional. So mandatory doesn't enable you in Final Cut Pro to have the ability to enable the animation. So it just has to happen, but it also lets Final Cut Pro know the official timing of whatever plugin you've created. So what we're going to do is choose built-in optional, and that will give me the option to enable or disable in Final Cut. And so we'll push OK. So we now have that happening. Now what I need to do is create an animation where it kind of pops out. So we will just come on over, duplicate our overshoot here with Command D. We'll drag that to the end, and we can just change the settings here. So the start value needs to be 0, and the end value needs to be negative 100. So now if I play that back, that's shrinking out exactly how we want it to. But unfortunately, what I'm noticing is it's overcompensating here. So what we need to actually do is maybe do a ramp parameter. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll delete that, go into our group, go to our scale, and add a parameter behavior. Once again, I love my parameter behaviors. And we're going to do ramp, and then we're going to drag up that curvature like crazy. That curvature is going to make it nice and smooth. If I push Command 8, you can actually see what's happening here. So I'm going to drag this ramp way down to the end there. And we want the end value to be -100. So now, if you watch down here in the bottom right. Oh, wait, my face is down there. Let me move my face. Hold on. Move that face. Nobody wants to see that face. There we go. Okay, so we've got it down here in the bottom right-hand corner. You can see the solid line that's going down. And if we drag up that curvature, it just smooths it out real nice. I didn't have to know how to animate at all. So now if we play back, that is going to shrink out of existence, and it looks good. So we're going to actually add in another marker with Shift M once again and double click that. And we're going to set this to build out optional, which is great. Look at that. We've practically got a full plugin going on here. So, and I'm going to save again, and let me look at these chat messages. Thank you guys for being so engaged. That makes the stream so much more fun. Oh yeah, I wish as well with Final Cut Pro, the animation that it has is just the worst. But that's all we got. Luckily we got motion, but they need to make it so you can dynamically link between the two really easily. I kind of have a hack to dynamically link, but it's not the same. So that would be cool. I agree. We need better keyframes in Final Cut. You were searching for a way to trim layers and you tried Command B. Yes, it's very different in Motion, but here's a fun tip. Motion actually has, under the commands setting here, you can actually change to a Final Cut Pro set. So things work similar to Final Cut Pro in the keyboard shortcuts. I don't do that for my tutorials just so that everybody's on the same page, but you can actually do that. You can also customize it the same way that you do in Final Cut. So fun fact for Motion. And there's also this cool thing. If you go to the window, where is that? View maybe? There's a way to totally change your view, and it's totally different setup. It's how the old Motion was, but I can't. Dang it, I can't. Window layout cinema. Okay, it's under window and then window layout cinema, so you can change everything here. And now look at how Motion looks. It's a disaster. No, I like this layout a lot, but again, I don't do it so that everybody's on the same page. So I don't know the actual benefits of having it set up that way, but yeah, I like that. Let's see. Can you create effects in Apple Motion just like After Effects? Yeah, Sammy, you definitely can. The benefits of After Effects for visual effects is After Effects has far better tracking, and also there's a much larger user base for it. So there's more tutorials, there's more plugins, so on and so forth. So you definitely can use it, but it's a lot more manual process a lot of the time. So like I just made a rotoscope tutorial, and After Effects has got the roto brush, and I really want the roto brush, but we don't have it. So you have to take that in consideration, but Motion's really, really, really good for motion graphics and also for creating plugins for Final Cut Pro. So you don't have to keep shelling out the dollars for them plugins. No, plugins are great. They save you a lot of time. You can buy them, but yeah. So anyway, that's kind of the big benefit of Motion for sure. Hey, I'm guessing it's Steven or Stefan, creator mode. Good to see you. Chaos Control. Hey guys, that is my dad, Chaos Control, and he's the guy that taught me most of the stuff I know. So he's a filmmaker as well. Thanks, Dad. Thanks for stopping by. And so yeah, we've got our plugin just about built here. What we can do is to make sure that we have it lined up in a spot that we really want. for the kind of the snapshot that shows up in Final Cut Pro is we push Shift M, double click that marker type, and you can set it to the poster frame. So that is the frame that Motion is going to use for your plugins. So there you go. Stefan, that is right. So good to have you. Thank you for stopping by. And yeah, okay, so I think we needed to take this plugin for a test drive. Let's see if I move this over here, what happens. Just kind of got that zoom in and zoom out. Okay, so we're gonna push Command S. That is going to fully publish it to Final Cut. Oh, quick thing. We need to actually apply some of the stuff in Final Cut. So we need to give us the options to change our color. So our brush color here, click that down arrow, publish that. Publish our brush opacity, publish our width, and I don't think I need the, oh, maybe the first and last point offset might be something I want. So we'll publish those, and then we can go into our project here, and this is something I just figured out, and I'm super stoked. It really makes it so you can make really high quality plugins. So all of your options here, if you go to your project and your project pane there, you can see all your published parameters. You can actually click and drag these around and line them up exactly how you want them to show up in Final Cut. You can also double click any of these and just rename them just like that. So that is a really great way to make your plugins just a little bit better, a little more accessible in Final Cut, and make a little bit more sense. Oh, yep, I agree, Marcel. I like Cinema more. I just don't use it for the sake of tutorials. But yeah, otherwise I'd have to explain every single time. Go to cinema mode, go to cinema mode. But maybe I'll make a tutorial talking about it so people know about it. Let's see. So let's go ahead, dial in our center here. I want to publish that as well so we could actually add keyframes in Final Cut. And then we'll reset that. And I keep thinking we're almost done, but there's stuff that keeps popping up. I'm going to rename this to position, actually. There we go. I'm going to push Command S, and however you leave it, so let's say I left on-screen controls over here to the left. If I saved it in Final Cut, then, or if I published it, then that's how it would show up. So you want to make sure everything's centered and clean. And last but not least, publish on-screen controls from our on-screen controls here. So now everything will show up in Final Cut. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into Final Cut. And we'll see how this goes, because I've been having a lot of problems with Final Cut Pro opening lately when I'm doing like streams or screen recording. So it's opened. Okay. Oh, look, there's my mug. Let's go ahead and we can look. Here's a sneak peek at Monday's tutorial I've been working on. So we are gonna look at this tutorial, and let's say that I want to zoom in here. So we'll just get our titles, go to our tutorial, and magnify. There it is. And we can just put this where we want it. Let's see how that plays back. And I don't really want the audio to come through, but oh, I know, I'll do Option S and that'll solo that clip. Okay, cool. So it lines up pretty closely to where it zoomed in. It's a little bit off. And the downside of that is you're just gonna have to play through to where you want the zoom to happen and just make sure it's lined up exactly where you want it. But now we can change the color on this, and our brush opacity, our width, all of it, and it's very easily accessible. We got our position settings, so we could add a keyframe if I wanted to zoom it over to this point here. Now it should hopefully pop in, move over there, and it looks like a glorious magnifying glass. So I think we did it. I think we totally killed this awesome magnifying plugin, which is exciting. Is there anything else you guys want me to cover for this plugin? I gotta read this, these two. Yes, yep, Apple does do that. I keep hoping for really good tracking in Final Cut Pro one of these days. We'll see. Yeah, they do focus on reliability for sure. And I think that's why people keep coming over here, because they're usually the reliability, if it's not working, is something wrong with your system more so than the software. In a lot of circumstances, it's like you install the plugin weird or something. So in my experience, I don't know, could be different for you. So, oh, you know what? I was going to make it so I can round these corners as much as I want to. Hey, Stefan, I'm gonna leave this on the channel so you can go back and watch it as much as you want and hopefully gain all of the insight. And let's see here. I should mention, if you guys are interested, I am doing one-on-one sessions, so you could say, hey, I want to learn everything there is to know about motion in an hour. I can sit down directly with you and answer all your questions and stuff. If you're interested, there's a link. You can get more info in the description there. But let me see. Okay, we got that. I want to show you this last feature. So we've got this little rotation twirl thing. So let's go ahead and make it so that actually rounds out the corners of our rectangle. So to do that, first let's link the roundness between this rectangle and the outline. So we'll click add a parameter behavior. We'll link that, drag in the outline, and so now the roundness is going to be linked between those two. Next, I actually want to publish the outline, so we'll go to the geometry and we will publish that. There we go. And then we are going to add a link to this, add parameter behavior link, drag our controller in, and then we're gonna work off the filters, on-screen controls, twirl. We're almost there. So now, yeah, actually I think it's there. So you can see that it's slowly getting rounder and rounder as I get, as I circle it around. But what I wanna do is if we go into our, where's that link? There it is. Okay. So what I want to do is enhance the scale of this. So we'll set this to 10 might be too much. Let's try 5. And so now the motion to round things out will be less. It's still not enough. So let's go back. Set this to 10. We'll try 10. 10 hopefully is going to work for us. It's like, it's kind of glitching out. It's working correctly for one, but not for the other. Why is that? Oh, I linked the wrong ones. Let's flop these links. So we need our controller there. Nope. I think I need them probably on the same one, huh? We'll figure this out real quick. Let me look at these comments. Oh, I use compressor all the time. So when I was working on the TV show that I was editing, we needed like 5 different versions for a particular video. So, you know, we had to make versions with black bars, without black bars, different frame rates, the whole thing. So what I did is you can create droplets in compressor, and then I would just export a ProRes master. I'd drop it onto my droplet and it would auto export at all the settings I set beforehand. Save me a lot of time rather than doing it individually. So I use compressor a lot, maybe not so much now that I'm freelancing, but you know, that was the idea there. So, okay, so I got to figure out this corner linking issue. For whatever reason, they aren't linking properly. So I just need to figure it out. This is linked to that shape's roundness. And you can see it's like more circular there. So that's weird. Oh, maybe this is working now. So if I go, maybe I'll swap these. Let's see. Yes, Ivan, you are extremely right. I think that's just kind of Apple's mindset, is make something super reliable rather than have all of the features in the universe. So, I actually like that mindset, and I would rather that I can rely on the software that I purchase. and not have to call clients and be like, hey, so it's not running. So so I appreciate that from a professional standpoint. It can be frustrating in the hobbyist standpoint where like you want to be able to have all these features and stuff that other software has, but you just never get those updates. But I will say Final Cut Pro, I paid $300, which I saved money up for mowing lawns. Who knows? 10 years ago, I bought it the day Final Cut Pro 10 came out, and I haven't had to pay a single penny more for it. So I do appreciate that. That's been awesome. But I do hope maybe in the future they'll have like a, well, I was hoping 10.5 would be a really big update, but it wasn't. That was kind of unfortunate, but that's okay. We'll just keep hoping and be optimistic about it. This is driving me crazy that I can't figure out why this link thing isn't working. So we're going to try it one more time. Let's see. I've got the correct linking tutorial. I need that one there. Oh, did I fix it? No, I didn't. I don't know why it's not working. Well, this was working for other plugins. Let's see. Let me dive into our link settings here. It's working with the filters on-screen controlled twirl, and that's affecting the roundness. I want that to scale by 10. I think I've figured it out, but I don't know what I did differently. Oh, I need to offset this for sure. So I'm going to say I want to offset this by, if I go in my link, I need to offset it by how much? By -75 is a good number. So now it's just got those slightly beveled edges. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so now our plugin has not only the features of like being able to move it around with on-screen controls, but it's also got this zoom in feature, which is really, really nice. I think we did it, guys and gals, if there's any gals here. So, yeah, I think after all this hard work on this particular plugin, it's been great. Now, what I would normally do if I was like going to sell this as a plugin or something, which I might come up with a creators pack or something you guys can get, but I would create the artwork for it, and then I would just drop it onto that the title background here. And that is what Motion will designate as the thumbnail in Final Cut Pro. So, so yeah, you can design your plugins with custom thumbnails just like that. You can sell that bad boy, make some serious dough. I don't know, I haven't done that yet, but yeah, that's the idea behind building an entire plugin. And I hope it was helpful to you guys. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Here, I'll be done on Motion, but I'll hang out with you a little bit longer here. We'll go to the face cam. Ooh, nobody wants to see that. So, okay, let's see. Bez says, of TV production via compressor's perspective. Ooh, that could be an interesting tutorial. I could do it right now on live stream. I mean, I can do whatever I want. Hopefully, let's see what we can do here. Yep, that's the idea, Stefan. I want to make it super affordable, but like, you know, I also have to pay bills. So so I decided I'll just make it really affordable for everybody. Yeah, I've been trying to upload at least 2 plugins a month on Patreon, but you know, actually so far, yeah, I've done like 2 to 3 per month, and then I've been doing extra live streams over there. Although I will say that it usually doesn't line up with everybody's schedule, and I don't have enough patrons to work it out. So this has been so fun having a ton of you guys, and it's been really interactive. Yes, Sammy, that's me too. But I also understand from the standpoint of like trying to help creators, support creators, and stuff like that. So when they have transition packs and stuff, I like to purchase them from the standpoint of like supporting them, which has been really cool. But a lot of the time when I buy something, it's like, well, I could make it myself. But yeah, I think that support aspect is so cool for the online community. I think it's really cool. You can choose with your wallet what you want to support with. So, okay, I've got, let me get off of my face there. I'll see if I can show you some stuff in Compressor really quick, just for fun. You know, that's what the beauty of live stream is. You can just go whatever way you want. That's the problem with Billy, always wants to be paid. Very, very true. Okay, so generally what I would do, what did I do? Oh man, it's been a while. So I would come down here, I would create these settings, and this will just be the test setting, I guess. And you could choose the format and whatnot. You could go in here, and then you could really dive into your settings in Compressor. So you could set your frame size. You can even set the frame rate, which is really cool. It'll re-render it to a different frame rate. Codec, all of that stuff. So I would make these custom presets. I'd make like, well, I'll just do 2, test 2. So you do that. I think you select them both, and then you right click and save it as a droplet. And so we've got the droplet here, and I'll just put it on my desktop. We'll just save that. So now literally all I need to do, I've got my test droplet. We can double click that. You just open it up and you drop in your video, and then you can choose your location down here. And so yeah, motion or Compressor will do all the work for you. So you only have to put in that initial hard work. I don't have the official settings that I was using. I'm trying to remember. I think I had like a ProRes version, H.265. I had a version, I usually was using letterboxing, so I had to make versions with letterboxing and without. So I can show you that too in Compressor. You can, where is that? I think you go custom, and there's this cropping, and then you can set your cropping to be 16 by 9 or 9 by 16, or you could just type it in. And then you could also do the padding here, which I think the padding, I don't actually understand the padding, so I won't try and comment on that because I don't fully understand it. But yeah, so yeah, I would go to 1.8.1 or letterbox area of source, so it would automatically detect the black bars and chop them off for me. So yeah, 128 Vision. A droplet is just like it's just a very miniaturized version of Compressor. So it has all of the settings you save in Compressor that you can right click here, save as a droplet. So it has all those settings condensed. You don't have to look at anything. You just open it, you drop in your video, it runs in the background. You don't have to think about it. And then you just come back a little later and all your videos are processed in the 10 or 20 different formats you need. So that's super helpful too if you're like trying to make a master version of your video and then you also want a YouTube and Instagram version. You can have it do all the automatic stuff there for you. So that's a huge time saver, especially when you're working in the professional side of things, because you need a lot of different formats. Some like 4K and 1080 and 720, and they want all the different resolutions, and I hate having to think about that. So I'm actually an extremely lazy individual, and so I will do anything I can to not get the work done and just let my computer do it for me. Yes, I am all about this compressor hack. It's a huge game changer. So all about that. Do you guys have more questions? Man, this is fun. It's already 2, but like time's flying by. This is the way to do videos. Let me go back to my face camera here. Cause now we can just go crazy. We can do whatever we want. I could show you the easiest way. When I make a plugin, I want you guys, if you ever buy it or whatever you do, get it on Patreon, I want you guys to like dive in and see how I made it so you can make your own. So if you ever want to do that, let's say you just install your plugin, you right click on this magnify plugin, for example, just open that bad boy in Motion, and you can literally see all the steps I took to create that plugin, and hopefully you can kind of learn to decode it. But yeah, that's a huge hack for just learning Motion to like reverse engineer it. But you also have to be careful that you don't create a plugin that's identical to somebody else and like steal their idea. So I am from the United States of America. And can compressor make it vertical from landscape? I don't know that. Let's do a quick test. Cropping. Yeah, you can have it do 9:16 right there. I don't know how good it would be because I don't think it senses where the action's happening. But if you stayed dead center in your framing, it might work. Might be worth trying. That could be a really fast way to get some vertical videos out. Let's see. With a tutorial with an outline, a property from a drone shot in the future. Yeah, I could definitely do that. I could give you a super basic, idea. How do you say your name? I need to learn how to say that. I like that name. So, okay. So I've got this. This is like the mini tutorial session. So, we'll do new from project browser. And we'll import as a project. And oh, maybe you know what? I'll download something off of Pexels. Pexels, get all your free videos right here. Let's just do Arial. And this looks like a good one that I can work off of. Okay, so we've got that downloading. And oh, my PC specs. I don't know if, let me see. Oh, I guess it's on my face. Okay, so I can check this really quick. I don't know if this has a serial number on it or not. It does have a serial number. Okay, so my specs are the iMac Retina 5K. It's a 2017. It's getting old. The processor, it's not as old as like 2013, I know, but it's old in the technology world. Processor is the 4.2 gigahertz quad-core Intel Core i7. I bought it with 16 gigs of RAM. I installed an extra 32, so it's at 48 gigs of RAM, 2400 megahertz DDR4, and it's got the Radeon Pro 588 gigabyte is what is in there. So I actually forgot what my specs were. I searched long and hard for specs. I bought it refurbished. Okay. I'm gonna get off of my face here, and we're gonna go back to. I'm gonna just super mini show you how to do this. Go to our live stream media for live stream. Drop our video in here. Yes, freelancing is crazy. How do I manage to be constant in my uploads? That is just from, that's just because I don't have a job, so no. Well, because I was working for a while, and then now that I'm doing freelance, I made it super important to me that I try and do a lot more uploading. And my dream job ever since I've been a little kid has been YouTube. So it just took me one day. I literally woke up and I was like, today I'm starting it. So that's how the channel got started. But yeah, I really wanted to focus on my channel in going in freelance. So that is the hope. It's been a really fun job, but it's also it gets difficult when you're trying to balance freelance and YouTube, but so far I'm super grateful for the opportunity. Okay, so let's say we want to outline a property. So this is how I would probably go about it. I would go ahead and motion track this, so we'll analyze it, and we'll just select a couple portions here, so there, and we'll go to our inspector, and we'll add that, and we'll track the other corner. Now this is, motion's kind of funky with the tracker, so you gotta hope for the best. If you have the ability to have a workflow with Blender or something, that would be cool. Let me know. I want to learn that workflow because I like the tracker in Blender and it's free, and I feel like I could share that with people on my channel. Hey, thank you, Stefan. I am so glad you like the channel name. Okay, I'm going to analyze this. So we're analyzing it. I should have done that. I can answer questions. And yeah, of course, Sammy. This delay, have any of you guys counted how long the delay is between me saying something? I don't know how long it is. I'm guessing it's 10 to 15 seconds. All right, I don't want to analyze this whole thing. It's taking forever. So we're gonna shorten that out with O, chop it up. And we'll shrink it down. Okay, so we've got that. Let's say we want to outline some property that's got this crazy shape. So I would take my pen tool and I would just go around and draw the shape of the whatever property I want it to be, like so. And then I would just apply. We'll go up to our behaviors, motion tracking, match move, and we'll hope that the analyze went well. There's no guarantees. And we'll also apply the scale. And I should have brought this in here. There we go. Okay, so now it's kind of got that outline like you would want around a property line. We could drop the fill opacity here, and we could maybe turn it red or something, and drop our width of our edges. And so now hopefully the motion track went well. It doesn't look like it's sticking super well on this. So what I would do to fix that is go into my anchor point and drag it to wherever I placed the first tracker, which I think that was the first one. Yeah, that's the first one. Okay, so I have my first tracker up there. So now the anchor point is lined up. So yeah, the track's going to be a lot more stable. And yeah, so then if you wanted to have it draw on, for example, we could go into our style here, and we'll go to our first and last offset points. So we could just take this last offset point, we'll add a keyframe, and we'll just draw it on like that. So you can see it's like outlining the property line there. You could drop down the brush opacity a little bit or something like that. And then we could also have the fill opacity come in, so we could take that to 0, add a keyframe. Boom, now we've got our property line all nicely animated. So hopefully that gets you an idea of how you might do that. Just a quick off-the-cuff tutorial. I gotta save this material for my videos, huh? And I might do, I'm not sure if I want to do like a highlights of the stream or something like that, but it's hard to say what people want to watch. So let's see. I'm feeling good right now, guys. 16 people here. That is absolutely blowing my mind. Let's see. Oh, sweet. I'm glad you figured it out. I am glad you figured it out. Yeah, well, I think I might wrap up this stream unless you guys have more questions, because I'm feeling good. But I might have to save it for another stream, because I've got an endless slew of stream content that I'll definitely have coming. I want to do more of these streams because this has been super fun having some live audience reactions. So thank you guys for making this such a fun experience. And yes, anchor point, always, that's the first thing I always check. If a track isn't working, I check the anchor point, because that's almost always the problem. And I don't know why Motion doesn't just go, oh, I'll just put the anchor point here, but it doesn't. When is the next stream? I don't know yet. I haven't figured that out. My schedule's all over the place, as you might know, Dad. maybe it'll be next. Yeah, I don't know. I want to do more of these Saturday streams. It feels good. I think more people can watch if they aren't working. So, but yeah. thank you so much for stopping by, everybody. And here, I'll switch this to my face. Thank you for stopping by. This has been super, super fun. I definitely want to do it again. And if you want a one-on-one edit session with me where I can totally show you the basics of whatever you want, or I can show you more advanced features in software and just show you general editing tips, and I can also, look at your channel and let you know what I would do to improve it, let me know. Email me down in the description below. I'm doing it for $50 right now, just trying to get it off the ground, beta test it. So if you want to do that, that would be awesome. Thank you, and I will see you on what day of the week? Oh, I'll see you on Monday for a Motion Monday tutorial. So more motion content coming your way. Thanks so much, and I will see ya. Peace.